my dreams I've kissed your lips 1,000 times. I sometimes see you pass outside my door. Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your smile. You're all I've ever wanted, and my arms are open wide. 'Cause you know just what to say, and you know just what to do. And I want to tell you so much, I love you. I long to see the sunlight in your hair and tell you time and time again how much I care. Sometimes I feel my heart will overflow. Hello, I've just got to let you know, 'cause I wonder where you are, and I wonder what you do. Are you somewhere feeling lonely, or is someone loving you? Tell me how to win your heart, for I haven't got a clue. But let me start by saying I love you. Are you somewhere feeling lonely? Is someone loving you? Tell me how to win your heart, for I haven't got a clue. But let me start by saying I love you.
Good morning and welcome to Life and Style. You know it's Wednesday, so it's Matters Relationship. And we want to hear your thoughts and your views over the conversations that we will be having today, right through from Monday, where we talk to the men, and the men are already with me over here. Then we will have retake, which is a continuation of what has been discussed on Monday. It is actually a take two of what we will have talked with the men. So the ladies are also here. That's where they join us in and give their perspective and their views. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Then we will have Crystal Okusa coming in to style my wife, style my hubby. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms at KTN_Life_Style. That is both for Instagram and for Twitter, and then KTN Life and Style for Facebook. 22840 is our text message number. The hashtag on our conversation is KTN Life and Style. You could also follow me at CJ Atemo, both for Instagram and for Twitter. Today we want to talk about nurturing talents in children. How do we raise children with their various gifts and abilities that they've been given by God, and making sure that those gifts come out and sometimes, or rather ideally, turn those passions into profits and make sense with the gifts that they have received or that they have. So I've got this panel of three gentlemen sitting together with me right here. How are you doing?
Fine.
You're all right.
Yeah.
We'll start the introductions right from my father's left.
My name is Michael Kuria, Reverend. I serve in the Anglican Church of Kenya, Nairobi Diocese as the Director of Youth Affairs. And it's really great being here.
All right. And then the gentleman in the middle.
My name is Professor Humphrey Bora.
Okay.
I'm the World Secretary General and the CEO of Talent at the World Talent Federation based in the U.S.
All right.
I also double up as the President of the African Federation for the Gifted and Talented.
Wow. Great.
My name is Brian Omodochieng. I'm an urban planner and an urban researcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether to start with you, Michael, or to start with Humphrey. Is there any child that isn't gifted? Because sometimes we talk about gifted children. Is there any child that isn't gifted? Let me start with Prof. Is there any child that isn't gifted?
First of all, there is always this confusion, and it's good to have the opportunity to make this correction here.
Yeah.
The word gift is not the same as talent.
All right.
And people think somebody is talented than the other. That's completely wrong.
Okay.
Every human has a talent. In fact, talent is measured in a unit known as genus. And an average human has got 241 genus of talent. Multiple talents are what make a gift.
Okay.
In fact, what might vary a lot is a gift from another.
All right.
Those who know the essence of human, if you read any religious book, they will tell you God planted in man a talent, and the only job you are given is to grow it into a gift. Go check it out. Any religious book. What we have not done right and what we have not thought right is how to discover the talent.
All right.
Once you discover the talent, you will find in what domiciles and domains of talent they do exist to be able to call it a gift. And if they exist in many dimensions or in many disciplines. For that reason, in Africa, mostly in African developing countries, we know the talent or the gift of people by the naked eye. This is not very different.
By the naked eye, you mean what
yes,
they display?
Yes, we observe a guy.
Yeah.
If a kid can sing, then you are sure the guy is going to be a singer. You are wrong. Right. If a child can run, then you conclude quickly it's going to be a sportsman. You are wrong. You don't know the person.
How do we discover?
Oh, yes, it takes a professional effort. Just like when your child has fever in the night, what do you do in Africa? You touch the forehead and you make a quick conclusion, hey, malaria. So, since you don't even want to go to hospital, and you've known the medicine for malaria for a long time,
right.
So you go to the chemist and you buy medicine for malaria. Hang on a minute. Fever is just a symptom.
Of what the
same symptom of fever is the same for pneumonia and for typhoid. Can you imagine if you bought medicine for malaria for a sickness which was pneumonia? First, you create a new sickness which was not there, but you aggravate the original one.
All right. So just to get to it,
yes.
How do we identify the talent?
There are 3 steps.
Okay.
Professional. Step 1 is known as oral screening. Oral screening, just like you go to a hospital, when you meet a nurse, they ask you, what happened? How did you start? Where did you feel? Take temperature, take pressure. If you come to us, just for your information, the whole idea about talent, and because people think talent is related to education, and that is just the intellectual talent,
right.
It all begins at the time of conception, during pregnancy, and only the first, and there's a lot that happens during labor, which we consider, and up to 4 years of growth. Right. After that, there's nothing that is taking place. You're just growing big.
Okay.
Everything during that moment. Let me finish.
Because I've got to get
I want to
the
finish for you
point.
2 things so that you know how
Then
to
do
get
that in 30 seconds.
in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
When we evaluate that things to do during pregnancy and birth, we
Yes.
call it oral screening because there's a lot there.
Okay.
Then
the
we go to
second one.
psycho-screening,
All
which
right.
now psychologists use a standard test.
All right.
And finally, there is a machine that produces what is called a body model. That's when you can make full conclusions, including the spirit and the soul of a person.
All right, so let me find out from you, Mike, Rev. Do we have to go through all the processes that Humphrey is talking about before we can identify these gifts? Is it possible? I know that you do youth ministry. Is it possible that you can identify the different talents and the gifts of people in church? And is it possible for a father who's raising their child at home, who doesn't have all the knowledge that Prof has, to identify those?
Absolutely. It is very possible for you to identify that gift. But back to your first question, you see, God is fair and
Right.
God is just. And the Holy Writ says that he has given gifts to all men. And I think that is where parents now come in. And especially when you have a small child, you should always be on the lookout, you know, because some of these children, they actually pursue their talents instinctively. Yeah, without being aware. It is you, first of all, to notice it, to recognize it, and then to start encouraging them to actually use it. And so it is possible for a person not to know that they're talented or gifted in a certain area, but it is possible for a parent to realize it, to notice it, and to actually point it that, hey, you're gifted in this area, and now begin giving them an opportunity, you know, helping them
But you
nurture
see,
that gift.
you see, Prof is saying that we can't do that because that would be just like, you know, the way we feel the head and say, okay, there's fever, then we're medicating with malaria. And you're telling me that it is possible for a parent to just watch the kid and know that this is the area this child is
Prof
talented
talked,
in.
Prof talked about the
Okay.
first step.
All
And
right.
if I got him right, he talked about oral screening.
Okay.
This is where you just use your eyes to see. So
Right.
you're able to see it, that this kid is gifted or talented in a certain area.
All
You
right.
do not need any class for you to see, to notice, and to appreciate.
All right.
And so even the person who is in the deepest, the remotest part of this nation, and God has given them a child, they are able to notice that this child has a unique ability.
So there is the element also of perception, right?
Absolutely.
That as a parent, you're raising this child. There are things you can perceive that you can't explain. But now, how do we nurture, Brian? How do we get this child? If we've identified, if I know that this child is talented in music, how do we nurture that?
Okay, I tend to agree with Prof professionally, because talent is something that you have to look on the kid as it grows. You find that between the age of 3 to 12 years of age, this kid will be engaging in playing with other kids. And you find that that is the period that if you are very keen as a parent and doing your parentinghood in a very good way, you will be able to watch this kid with a lot of concern, because at a certain age, this kid will bypass that age whereby you'll be able to notice this. So one thing, if you don't notice that this
But
kid
the
has,
people who discover their talents at a certain age that was not probably manifesting while they were children. So I don't know whether if they're past the initial stages, you can say that you've missed out on them, because some people will tell you they started singing at 20. Some people started drawing at 25.
Yes.
They never knew that that was there.
Normal.
Yeah?
yeah, very,
Is there
You
a
want me
stage?
to- just let me put this into a perspective.
Yeah.
What they're saying, it is very possible for a parent to know the child is sick. That's very easy. I can know when the child has fever, he's not playing with the rest. The child is sick. What matters is what do you do next? When you know your child is sick, do you just rush to the chemist and pick dawa for malaria? Any parent, any teacher, any adult can pick out something unique about a child.
All right.
Let me tell you, we have things that we call as cadre principles of knowing something is unique about a child. For example, if a child in the estate is tending to play with older children, then you know this child is potentially gifted. If your child asks too many questions
How is that
and is
related?
very restless.
Prof, how is that related?
Yes.
Playing with the older people
Oh, yes.
and gifting, how is that related?
That is called high order ability.
All right.
Okay? If a child has got high order ability, meaning both intellectual and spiritual,
Okay.
they will not be relating with their peer groups.
All right.
They tend to relate with the older ones.
Okay.
I can tell you my own daughter went through that.
All right.
My daughter is the one that, I was the one being fought by the city council when I moved my daughter from class 3 to form 1.
All right.
Today she's 19 with a PhD.
Okay.
But that's a story for another day.
All right.
And one of my initial symptoms was that my daughter was not playing with the age mates.
All right.
These are normal things which any parent can be able to identify. If you walked over with your child to a supermarket and you lose your child and you find a child with adults and the child will be asking adults questions, and when you reach there you hear these answers from parents. Kwani unaenda shule gani? Wazazi wako wanafanya kazi gani? Hai, huyu mtoto mrefu namna gani? Mbona ulize swali hajasikika? When you hear those, you already got your initial symptoms.
Okay.
The problem with us is what we do next. And also,
what do we do?
That is when you need to understand. You got to go and get the professional assessment. The first one was just mere identification.
But then not everybody can afford the professional assessment, right? I'm thinking about somebody who is out there in the rural areas, Michael, somebody who's out there, even somebody who's watching right now, and they've got this child who they feel is very talented, very gifted, and they're in a place where they don't have access to services like the ones that Professor Humphrey would offer. What do they do?
One, that is when you begin providing what I call the background enrichment.
Right.
You know, if you notice that probably
and what does that mean?
If you notice that they are gifted in singing, anytime you hear them sing, maybe you can join them, be their greatest supporter, be their greatest encourager, sing along with them. And then maybe after a while, you can start looking for maybe a music teacher and start learning some of these professional things that Prof is talking about. Number two, you also need at that tender age to start nurturing that gift, nurturing that talent.
That is what, how do we do that? You've talked about offering support, you know, but how do we really nurture this?
Number two, you provide opportunities for them to grow that gift and talent.
All right.
Yes, because we have a lot of, and especially in Kenya, thank God that we have gotten to a point where we are appreciating talent and gift. And especially when people are young, we have churches and other places where people are giving children an opportunity to sing. Kids as young as 2 or 3 up to 6, there is that opportunity. Why don't you invest in your kid, drive them to that place, walk them to that place, register them, get them a music teacher, give them an opportunity to sing, let them make mistakes, and along the way, you correct them. As you do that, you're sharpening that talent.
All right. But, you know, I've got to bring this vis-a-vis the education system, because we were trained in our day, and even still up until now, you see children go to school very early in the morning, come back in the evening, quite late. Do they really have time to grow these talents? Does the system nurture those talents, or does it stifle the talent because people are looking for grades?
I would love this to say, if you've realized that a child is maybe a footballer and he likes playing football, you find that as a parent, the first thing you need to do is to say yes to this kid, because these kids need motivation at that particular age. If you say yes, then it's like they're seeking for approval from you to say yes. After you say yes,
what do you mean?
By yes, I mean telling them that this particular football is good, and you might assist by other photos, pictures, videos like the one of these stars we watch in televisions like Ronaldo, so that those be the icons. So if you do that, you give them a step or a stepping stone to go ahead. You say that the next is whether the system allows us to nurture these kids. Okay, the education system has been changing. Like in the past, you find that a kid could only know the talent at primary school when we have got the inter-school games. Nowadays, I see it in Nairobi here, you find that on weekends, kids who are in primary schools, they spend their weekends, they go to these clubs or these other areas.
But you see, okay, Prof, go ahead.
Let me put it for you this way. Number one, your problem is that person in the village who was spotted. That's called talent spotting or identification.
Right.
There is something funny with my child. If your child is born without growth hormones in the village or a certain disease, what do? Do you want to do something funny enough there in the village? You got to know that there's Kenyatta Hospital. You got to find out. You got to take the first step going there. Government must come in to support that. I'll tell you what we do at headquarters in the US. Our mandate is to try and reach out to people wherever they are. 2 years ago, a number of biometric kits which form that machine were donated to Africa, and we've been putting them in a number of places, working with the government, working with the county government. You could check that out on our websites.
All right.
This is to reach out to the people, because we cannot make pretense that by guesswork we're going to make it. Can you imagine if you saw your child in the village to try to do football?
How many people do know that such services exist? Because I cannot look for something that I don't even know exists. I'm hearing that from you over now.
Well,
Michael.
that happens. If you want me just to finish to answer that question about that village fellow.
Okay.
It's not a beginning. I've been there for the last 16 years, and we've been doing this until I reach headquarters. I started from me in Kenya.
Right.
And I have even Kenyans right now in Harvard. We wrote their reports, and they are learning prescriptions. Learning prescription is the beginning of nurturing talent. Without a prescription, you do not know the person. Listen, people tend to think that talent is to do with education and learning only. Hang on a minute. A guy dropped out in class 2 in your village, but is the guy fixing all electrical things in your village? Where did he learn that?
But that's what I need to come back to this with Michael. You
Yes.
know, so here I am. I'm a parent. I want my child to perform well in school. So a lot of his time is being taken up. Brian is talking about they've got weekend, like football, you got weekend places to play. Football is a bit more general. There are other talents that are a bit unique.
Yes.
And then here is a lot of schoolwork, and you want to create the balance between this child growing in their talent and them being at school. What do you do?
Thank you. Kenya is a perfect example of a nation that has stifled talent and gifts. So long as we continue emphasizing on children getting an A, and we use that as a measure to judge their intelligence and to condemn them either, we will continue stifling that talent. And that is why, for as long as we continue using that system, a lot of talent is going to waste, a lot of gift is going to waste. And that is why we need to actually look at it again. In fact, I'd even propose maybe our system should be maybe from 8 to around 1, we're doing the schoolwork, the book thing. And maybe from 2 to 4 p.m., we're trying to nurture these gifts and talents in school, because it's very unfair. And I believe all of us, we have seen children who are about 10 years at 5 a.m. being picked by a school bus. Some of them are so sleepy. Some of them are sleepwalking. They don't know what is happening. And they are carrying a huge bag full of books, because the teacher has told them, if you want to succeed in this life, then you must read. And after reading, you have to read again. And after reading again, you have to read again. And so they've grown up in a culture knowing it is all about books.
Let me just ask this, because we're just about to move on to the next. But let me ask this. So I've got a son who wants to play football in the house in the night the whole time. He's dreaming, he's breathing football and all of that. When your child says, look, I want to drop out of school because football is my passion, is it the right thing for the child, for the parent to do, to allow them to drop out and then fix them somewhere else?
No.
No. Okay.
Listen.
In just about 30 seconds.
It's not only football.
All right.
If you have not assessed your child,
okay,
you will only think that football.
Okay.
Remember, for you to succeed in football, you need support systems.
All right.
You need other things and skills.
Okay.
Through the assessment, we shall discover more things and will be able to write for your report and follow the prescription, which will tell you what will be the enrichment, what will be the learning styles, what will be the ability styles, what will be the product styles. Remember, learning has got a lot more things.
All right.
And all these are enrichment, which whatever you're calling nurture, those are things to nurture.
Sure.
Nurture includes even nutrition and even exposure systems. They will be in that prescription.
All right.
If you are coming from a village and you think you're going to be a sportsman, or you're going to be a footballer, I can tell you not go very far with the things that we know, unless I have that report put at the international database so that somebody can come up and see that value and pick up and sponsor that.
All right. Your wrapping thoughts. We begin with you, Michael. Your wrapping thoughts.
I really don't think it's good for somebody to drop out of school for them to pursue their talent, because we need somebody who is holistic. We need a footballer who knows how to communicate. And the only way you can learn about communication, it is in school. We need a footballer who knows how to respond to an email. They also need to grow in every other strata of their lives.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The conversation will continue with retake. So we're going to take a short break right now. Remember, keep the conversation going. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style. We get back, but we would like to hear your thoughts. How do you nurture the talents in your children? Don't go anywhere. Keep it right here on Relationship Wednesday. Life and Style.
Count on me through thick and thin, a friendship that will never end. When you are weak, I will be strong, helping you to carry on. Call on me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me when I say, count on. I can see it's hurting you. I can feel your pain. It's hard to see the sunshine through the rain. Oh, I know sometimes it seems as if it's never gonna end, but you'll get through it. Just don't give in, 'cause you can. When you are weak, I will be strong, helping you to carry on. Call on me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me when I say, count on. You can count on me. Oh, yes you can. I know sometimes it seems as if we're standing on alone, but we'll get through it, 'cause love won't let us fall. I'll be there, a friendship that will never end. You are weak, I'm strong, helping you.
care who you are, where you're from, what you did, as long as you love me. Who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did, as long as you love me. Every little thing that you have said and done feels like it's deep within me. Doesn't really matter if you're on the run. It seems like we're meant to be. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you did, as long as you love me. Who you are, where you're from, don't care what you did, as long as you love me. Yeah. As long as you love me. I've tried to hide it so that no one knows, but I guess it shows when you look into my eyes. What you did and where you're coming from. I don't care, as long as you love me.
Maybe it's something that I have that was never explored. And who knows what you're saying? I'm still pretty young. I can, I can dance. That's a talent for sure.
Looking at you.
How about if you are pressing your child down, you are still a child. You can't do this.